If you've ever spent a scorching summer evening standing over your garden, endlessly spraying the soil only to find it dry an hour later, you know the frustration of traditional surface watering. But by changing the direction that moisture moves through the soil, we can bypass the daily hose routine and grow a garden that thrives on the tone. This diagram illustrates a wicking bed. Instead of pouring water over the top, the frame holds a constant water reservoir hidden underneath the soil. Through capillary action, it steadily pulls that moisture upward to hydrate the plant roots. Because water molecules naturally cling to surfaces, they travel up through the tiny gaps in the materials below. This keeps the moisture down where the roots are, while leaving the topmost layer of soil completely dry. That dry surface prevents evaporation, allowing the bed to produce 50% more food per liter of water than standard surface irrigation. To construct this, you need a few core materials: a timber frame, a heavy-duty potable water liner, 25mm plumbing parts, 7mm aggregate stone, some geotextile fabric, and a low-clay vegetable soil. Sourcing and layering these exact components creates an isolated, self-watering environment. Build the layers correctly, and your plants will no longer depend on you for their daily hydration. Step 1 is choosing your location. A completed bed holds hundreds of liters of water and soil, so it requires a firm, stable surface. Position it in a sunny spot, leaving enough space around the perimeter for you to work comfortably with a wheelbarrow. When assembling the timber frame, it must sit perfectly level. If the frame is positioned on a slope, gravity pulls the underground water to the lowest end. Half of the bed will become completely waterlogged, and the other half will dry out, ruining the crop. Once leveled, thoroughly sweep the interior of the frame. Even a small twig or stray rock can puncture the liner under the weight of the dirt. When the area is completely clear, carefully lay down your waterproof liner. Do not substitute cheap builder's plastic here. Standard plastic breaks down under UV light, tears easily, and is not rated for growing edible food. A leak will destroy the bed's function, so use a heavy-duty, potable water-grade liner. Press the liner snugly into the base. When you reach the corners, avoid cutting or stretching the material. Instead, fold and tuck the excess material neatly against the wood, similar to folding the corners of an inside-out present. Securing a perfectly level frame and an intact, high-quality liner creates the foundation of the system. Without this secure boundary, the underground reservoir cannot hold water. Now we build the plumbing, which delivers water straight to the base. Connect a vertical inlet pipe to a length of perforated agi pipe and lay it flat along the bottom of the liner. This lets you fill the bed quickly from the top down. For the overflow outlet, pass a pipe through the side of the timber frame and attach an adjustable vertical riser on the exterior. That exterior riser is your manual control valve. By twisting it up or down, you set the maximum water height inside the bed. During heavy winter rains, you can turn it all the way down to drain the reservoir completely and protect the plants from drowning. With the pipe set, fill the bottom of the bed with 7mm aggregate stone. Do not use scoria. Scoria does not wick water efficiently, and its jagged, glossy edges can easily slice through the waterproof liner. Take a look at this image demonstrating the water leveling trick. When you fill the aggregate layer with water, the surface of the water establishes a perfectly flat, highly visible plane against the gray stones. Rake the aggregate flat until it sits perfectly even with that water line. Then go out to the exterior riser and trim the pipe so its opening aligns exactly with the water level. This permanently caps your maximum reservoir height. Linking the adjustable exterior plumbing with a mathematically flat stone reservoir acts as the engine of the bed. It holds the maximum possible water volume while guaranteeing the topsoil never floods. Step 3 is the growing medium. Directly on top of that wet, leveled aggregate, place an unbroken sheet of geotextile fabric. This fabric functions as a strict boundary line. It allows moisture to travel upward through capillary action, but it prevents the soil from washing down into the stones. Without the fabric, the aggregate turns into dense mud, permanently breaking the water flow. Fill the remaining space to the top of the frame with a high-quality, low-clay vegetable soil. Soil with heavy clay content will quickly compact and become stubbornly waterlogged, so a lighter mix ensures the roots get plenty of oxygen. Wicking beds provide constant moisture, making them the ideal environment for high-yield, nutrient-hungry annuals. Tomatoes, capsicums, and leafy greens will grow exceptionally well here. However, never plant deep-rooted trees, and avoid driving sharp wooden stakes deep into the dirt. Woody tree roots or sharp stakes will pierce the fabric and the bottom liner, causing permanent leaks. Finally, cap the top of the soil with a thick layer of mulch, like pea straw. This insulates the soil life from intense summer heat and physically blocks moisture from evaporating into the air. By separating the soil from the water layer and selecting appropriate annual crops, you protect the mechanical integrity of the bed and maximize your harvest. When you introduce new seedlings, you must water them from the top down for the first 2 weeks. The active moisture zone sits below the surface, so this top watering trains the young roots to grow downward toward their permanent water supply. Once those roots are established, maintenance is effortless. To water the garden, simply insert your hose into the vertical inlet pipe to fill the bottom reservoir. Stop filling the moment you see water trickling out of the exterior overflow riser. The result is a highly efficient growing environment. Because the topsoil stays dry, weeds struggle to germinate, while your crops pull continuous hydration from below, leading to dense, healthy yields. It requires exact measurements and careful layering to build the frame, seal the liner, and set the plumbing. But executing those steps correctly up front yields a resilient garden that handles the hardest watering tasks for you, year after year.